What's up, everyone? Bradley Jack Design here. I think I need to switch over to this. Because you guys are so great, and I have 3,000 subscribers now, I have to use the pen tool. So, there's supposed to be rain falling, but I think I deleted it. But anyway, we'll go back. We are back here. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So here's what we're going to do. We got this photo here of Emma Raducanu, who won recently. I don't remember which one it was. Emma. The US Open. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So she won the US Open, so we're going to do this. We are going to cut her out. We're going to cut her out two ways. So we're going to do it the way I like to do it, and then we're going to do it with the pen tool, and I'm going to time it. And we're going to see which one takes longer. We're going to see which one people like better. So we're going to make a little scene for them to both be in. And in the end, you're probably not going to be able to tell the difference, but we'll see how much of a time difference it is. So let me pull up a stopwatch. So yeah, so the pen tool. The pen tool will get you nice curves to use. I asked people on Twitter, what do you guys use when you use the pen tool? And it seemed to be pretty much the same method that you would using quick select. You're just getting to that later. Getting to the same selection later. So let me pull a couple things up. Okay, rocking and rolling. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to cut it out the way I would cut it out, and then we're going to cut it out with the pen tool, and we're just going to compare. So I'm going to go ahead and start right there. All right, so we started. So the way you guys know I would usually cut this out is I would just hit select subject. It would select pretty decently. It's grabbing the line judge back here, of course, or ball person. I'm going to just grab her hair later. Down here, it's not a lot of contrast, so we can't see that. The racket, it's going to be its own beast on itself. So let me just go into selected mask. So there's a thing, it's like, I want to do this fast, but I also want to do this correctly. Yeah, Garrett, I'm going to start cutting out the bad way and then show you the good way. Let's just say that. Actually, let's do the pen tool first. So I'm going to reset, start. All right, so pen tool. Here's how I would use the pen tool. And again, I've used the pen tool before. I used it when I worked at Huffy Bikes at an internship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with sort of a corner area. Like, so there's a sharp corner here. So I don't know how people do this if they make a path. I always just make a shape. That way I can see it easier and manipulate it easier than if it were a path. I think just shapes in general are easier to use. So when you're using the pen tool, if you hold down the option key, you can click on an anchor and then it will convert it to a point. So I converted this to a point, so if I didn't do that, if I click over here to do her arm, you can see that it swoops down here. But if I convert it to a point first, it makes a sharp right angle that I can then manipulate. So I'm just going to go in here, move this around. You can hold down the command key or the control key and move these anchors around however you want, like this. Or control click the point. If you're Mike Baldwin and you use a PC. I'm using Mac terms. There's Option and Alt on the Mac will do that, and then if you hold down the command, it'll allow you, command or control, it should allow you to do that. Now, Mike, is it okay, or Alt click one of them, gotcha. Yeah, it's different on a PC. Mike's a big PC guy. Not gonna fault anyone for using something they're comfortable with, which is, again, is why I don't really care about people using the pen tool. It's not an argument worth getting into. It's just sort of a tired argument at this point. Use whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you want. So like in here, I'm basically just clicking and dragging until the curve hits a spot I like. And just like the quick select, we can just sort of fake the funk as to where things are. Like, I don't know where this ends. Like, I'm just going to click where her neck is, maybe. And that's the thing with this. Someone was talking about using some sort of blur with the specific path, which I wasn't familiar with. Or I think it sounded like they're trying to say you can blur specific points on here. So like I would blur a couple up here to see what's going on. So like her hair, it's kind of hard to figure out what it does. But I'm glad there are people in here that use the pen tool, because I want you guys to be here. So I am telling people the correct things and how things go. Yeah, large format, I've definitely seen that at my old position before COVID, or just packaging. When I worked at Huffy, we used the pen tool because we put bikes on packaging. Now this up here, we might just like mess around with some other way. So, and this is where like the pen tool is not going to cut this out great. Like I can go up here and just kind of do this and get some of the wispiness of her hair. It'll work over here. But again, it's going to take forever to select all of this stuff. So someone said that they use a channel selection layer to do that. So we'll go based on their preference. And I'm just going to click and drag and curve around here. And we'll make that selection separately just because that is what someone said they did. So we're going to follow what someone would do if they use the pen tool regularly. Because the pen tool is not meant to cut out hair. The pen tool works great for spokes on a bike, because you can get all the tiny little spokes and they're straight. They're straight. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, if we wanted to argue pen tool versus quick select, like Adobe's done AI to make the pen select somewhat obsolete in most circumstances. Now, when I talk about using the pen tool, I'm talking about using it to cut out a person. Or when I use quick select. If you're I've used the pen tool plenty, and you've seen me use it on streams where I'm cutting out like a building that has a bunch of angles, or I'm cutting out a trophy and I can't discern, and the AI can't discern where it starts and stops. Oh, good morning, Dean. At 7 o'clock p.m. here in lovely, warm and cheerful Dayton, Ohio. Warm and cheerful is actually Centerville, Ohio, which is where I'm from, but I'm going to steal it. So what you can do is with a point, oops. If you hold down Alt, it'll move one of the points. If you hold down Control, actually I just sort of split it. If you hold down Alt, you can just edit one of the points instead of moving them both. I'm screwing up right now on accident. All right, so we're going to solidify that. We're going to come over here. Yeah, Dean. So that's the whole point of this stream, Dean, is I said a while ago when I hit 3,000 subscribers, which you blew past, I was going to use the pen tool. So we're going to cut this photo out with the pen tool, and then we're going to cut it out with quick select, and we're going to see which people prefer, and then see based on time which is a better method. Now it's going to be skewed because I'm really good at using quick select. I don't use the pen tool that often, but I have used it in the past. And we're going to try and use your minimum method that you were talking about. I looked a little bit about it on line before, or I found it in a video where they were talking about it. And I think I was doing it wrong in some previous streams. So I think I'll be able to fix that here. So some of this isn't going to be perfect, but we can fix it at any point in time. Yeah, not great on hair. We completely skipped the hair. We're going to do that with channel selection because that's what someone said they did. So I'm being fair to the people who use the pen tool. You know, this is a way this is how they use it. I use a website to make my ping files. Yeah, someone said they do that as well. A lot of people actually outsource it, which, I mean, it's a great idea, especially if you're cutting out a, you know, I don't know, 30-person poster for a game day or something like that. you might as well just outsource it, which is smart. You don't have to do everything yourself. Oh, I bet that, you know what? I bet the pen tool is probably faster with a tablet. This is true. I might eventually get a tablet to use because lighting in general just seems to be a slam dunk. Like the stuff Jonathan Ogstow does, he does with a like a Wacom tablet or Wacom, however you want to pronounce it. So once we get to these bigger areas, it's easier to hit. This is just one big long area. I tend to convert my points often, which is probably not terribly good. I just know based on using the pen tool that if I were to click somewhere, it would just like completely break and then it might look weird. I'll just shift that inside there. Okay, so we're here. This should clear to at least here. So you see it's a little darker here. So I need to actually go up a little bit here and then come in here and do it, and it should be better. And this again, for educational purposes only. All right, so we'll click over here. At least I'm not doing this. I remember when I was in college and they were showing us how to use the pen tool in Illustrator, and it was like people clicking every centimeter to try and get it to look good for like curves. And it's like, no, just like click and drag. Like, what are you doing? You're doing it completely wrong. If you're gonna do it, at least do it correctly. So I'm sure there's some stuff in here I can tweak. There's gonna be some points that might be a little jagged that I need to fix. But if we're gonna refine the edge anyway, we should be fine. I'm gonna curve around this corner. Let's go up here and then curve around it. Curve. Shoot up here. You know, where should I technically go with this? Who knows? We'll just shoot this down here. I'm already boring myself from using this. Let me zoom out. See, when you're zoomed in like this and you can see all the pixels, it's a little harder to see. So we'll do this. Yeah, see, so use the pen tool on your Surface Pro so you can use a pen or a, what are they called? You know, the things that you use? Stylus pen. Move it on here. We'll go here. We'll shoot around this area. Get to her leg, which should be pretty simple. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm already bored. That's why I didn't like using the pen tool when I worked at Huffy, but it was how things worked. So, you know, if that's how processes are, that's how processes are, even if I think there's a way easier ways to do it. Oh, clicking tons to make a curve with the polygonal lasso tool. Yeah, that sounds terrible. These are pretty straight. You know, her legs are straight. This would be a pain with, like, a guy. Like, whenever I see, like, a basketball player or someone who has really hairy arms, I'm just like, nope. Your arm's getting shaved off right now. I'm not about to fuss around with that. Sometimes it will select it out well when I do quick select. Sorry, when I do... Oh, my fun buttons aren't working. That's no fun. Well. Alright, so down here we're in the shadow, and it doesn't really matter once we're down here because I'm going to duplicate the shadow already. At Huffy, did they use paths in other software? We mainly just did it for cutouts for packaging. Just so that in their terms, it's based on the photos that they were sent. It's better to use the pen tool because you might have really frilly, semi-transparent, like handlebar frill things. Streamers. So that way, using the pen tool, because it's a very sharp edge, I think that's why. But like using paths as selections and other things, I don't think they ran into that too often. They also did everything like in Illustrator, which I thought was interesting. Like a lot of the design work was done in Illustrator. Now this was forever ago. This was 10 years ago. So things have changed. I know people, there have been passing over of the torch from people that I used to work with there. Most of them are gone. Actually, one of the interns that I interned with, my sort of second semester interning there, he actually works there now. And he's like in charge of design, so that's cool. So I'm just gonna fake this. No, I don't know. Whoops, I gotta accidentally added a point instead of clicked the point to convert it. Here we go. Yeah, thanks, Dean. I feel like I need to do more soccer related content, because it seems like whenever I do anything soccer related, it's just like it's eaten up. That's because it's the most popular sport in the world. People, and I guess, you know, you're in the UK, people care about soccer more here. People care about American football more than anything here. And LeBron James. Those two specifically, nothing else. So let's go like this. What's up, Kevo? All right, so this is all like her ankle's getting broken, so we can, hitting the wrong button. We'll zoom in here. So we're gonna curve this way, 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 we're gonna curve this way. And then we'll curve back this way a little bit. We're gonna turn this into an anchor point. We're gonna curve out, anchor point, swing out this way, and then boom, anchor point. Let's click over here and drag down. Something like that. We might have to tweak that, but that's fine. We can do that. Click here, drag, anchor point, slide up over, curve back a little bit. Let me see if I can hit this turn. A little bit. All right, so then we'll drag this way, cruise it up here, anchor point. What is this, a shoelace? We don't deal with shoelaces around here. I will right here just because. But if Tony's taught us anything, it's we don't mess with shoelaces. Just cut it out. Hey, look, Daniel Hardman is here. I'm assuming he's here because of Dean. Thank you, Dean. All right, so we got this nice, that's the good thing about, boom, nice smooth leg, nice big curve, drag it up over here like this. Actually coming along pretty decently. I guess, you know, honestly, if I'm charging the client by the hour, I should just cut it out with the pen tool. You know, I'm hurting myself on time if I don't cut it out with the pen tool because it's quicker. That's why they call it quick select. Thank you guys for also spending your time with me to watch me cut out this tennis player. But I said I would do it. And it's coming along. It's kind of hard to narrate. Look, we made another curve. Look. Oops, see, I don't like that one. So I'm going to draw a line this way and then do it so it follows the real curve a little bit better. Daniel, I don't want to burst your bubble. I'm only doing this because I hit 3,000 subscribers. I am one of the bigger advocates for using quick select. Just because it's faster. So we're going to cut it out two ways. as best I can. And I'm timing it just to see how long both take, to see which is theoretically better. Quick select, aka the tragic wand. No, the magic wand is completely different and can be tragic. I do agree. Alright, what do we want to do here? Shoot up like this and then take that curve over, and then let's go like this. Make a new anchor. As long as you create a path on like the same line as the anchor, I think it's fine. Yeah, Garrett, like I want this to be precise, and this is the only way you can be precise with this. I have high standards. I'm also narrating. Also, the pen tool is ancient. Thank you, Dean. I mean, we're almost done. We still have to cut her hair out. That's a terrible anchor point. Hold on. Might have to fix that one. All right, so I can't really see what's going on here, so we'll just fake the funk. Kind of like that. Good to go. This feels like it should have been a tutorial in 2011. Next, I'm going to show you how we can import this to Quark Express for your documents. All of your documentation needs. That joke is from Mike Baldwin, because Quark Express doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know what's going on here, to be honest. And you know what? Neither can you. So we're going to blur this in both of the files, so it's not going to matter. We're going to use a motion or a path blur to blur this whole area out. Okay, so we'll go up here. Now the pen tool is going to come in real handy right now. I will say that. But like, this is a tennis racket, so like, boom. Picked. Click, drag. You know, maybe we slide this over a little bit. We're gonna blur it anyway, but, and then we can click up here, quarter way around, tweak some of it a little bit, boom. Click, I don't know, like right here, drag it over, boom. Drag that up a bit, and we'll come back down here. This is where it can mess up a bunch, where you might have to tweak some of the other ones. So I'll go like that. Boom. See, look, we already cut out the tennis racket. It's like that. Yeah. Nice big curves. I get it. So now we have this shape I made. Yeah, this racket area is going to be the fun part. So I'm going to cut this part out now. And this is why I like using the pen tool or the shape portion instead of the path, because I just feel like it's easier. I'm more comfortable using shapes. That's really what it is. Again, it's all what you're comfortable with. I do not like how this turned out, so we'll do that. There we go. Got this going on. So really, you know, I don't know what people would do next. I would then basically make a selection with this shape and then cut out this little tiny part. We'll deal with this later. And then mask her. So boom, there it is. I'm gonna hide that. I'm gonna delete the layer mask on here. We're gonna go into the channel selections and figure out which one of these is gonna be easiest. Oh wow, definitely that. We're gonna duplicate that channel. We're gonna turn that channel on. We're gonna go to adjustments. I'll do curves. No, I don't have racket strings already cut out to replace the racket. We'll figure that out as we go. The easy thing would be just find the same exact racket she uses. So I'm just dragging these over. I'm basically doing this as a levels layer instead of curves. Let's like kind of use curves, no? There. So we'll brighten this up a little bit. You can see it's still white and not completely pure white up here. We basically want black and white. Like that. So that'll work. Let's try that. So we'll select that. And then we'll mask that out and invert it. Do a calculation to create that alpha? I have no idea what you're talking about. Pixel radius of the selection. I usually go for, yeah. So I'm going to tweak the thing. So what do you want me to do? You want me to go to image, calculations. What is this? Oh, to create that alpha? Oh, and I can go to blue, or I can go to blue copy. Is that what you're saying? Do that. I'm gonna have to play with that. I'm gonna have to play with that later to see what it is. And that's a great thing. Like, I know how to use Photoshop, but I don't know what you're talking about, so that's fun. So I'm gonna turn this back layer back on because I have this part masked out. So I'm just gonna paint in. Yeah, and it takes two. Okay. I mean, it takes two to make a thing go right. So there, we got our hair back in here, so that's good. But the selection is not good enough because I don't know. Let's put, what color do you guys like to put as your background if you're testing stuff out? I'm just gonna put green. Just gonna put one stupid line of green. I never do fill. Yeah, so I can see all sorts of trouble with this selection. We'll use pink because that's what Dean says. Or magenta. Click. Ugh. Hitting all sorts of wrong buttons. I'm also just wasting time picking a different color. This isn't even pink, it's magenta, but whatever. There we go. Alright, so you can see how bad this looks. This is where we can go in. Let's select this. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this, actually. So first off, I'm just going to go up here. I'm just going to use a brush with white and just kind of put the top of her head back in, because, like, no one's going to notice that. That's going to be fine. And then I can use black to cut that part out. So I could have used, you know, the pen tool for a little bit of this. We don't, you know, we can just say her hair is perfectly in a nice slick bun. And, like, this doesn't look terrible, but it could look better. So let's hop in here. Let's use a, I guess minimum might work here. But I'm just going to use black set to overlay at 30%. It's going to crisp up some of these areas. And what it's going to do is it's going to get rid of a lot of this crap up here. So I'm just clicking and dragging a bunch over here. I'm going to set it to 100% actually and get rid of all this stuff. I'm editing the selection, so anything that is white you're going to be able to see, and anything that's black you're not. So let's put this back at like 30%. Just hit a couple spots in here. I can swap it to white if I want to add a little bit more back in. I think that's decent enough. I can click off. So that's what her hair looks like, and that looks bad. You know, right here, you know, I took this whole part out, which is not a good thing, and it's super choppy. What am I doing? I'm on overlay still, so nothing is working. We'll just paint some of this back in. See, I use you know, I use all the pen tool and all this stuff, but then I just use a brush to get rid of all this stuff. It's kind of silly. I'm just actually going to get rid of this middle part. And I'm just going to like fake some of this hair just because who knows what it's supposed to look like. Nobody. You don't. I don't. What is this? You know, let's get rid of that. Super weird. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, Chris's way of doing it is good. It doesn't work so well on this photo. Or I would just usually just do it that way. Let me get rid of some of this fringe over here. Here's the cutout photo. You're pretty decent. So let me grab this selection. On the bottom one, delete the layer mask. We got everything again. So we'll go back up to our select and mask. And this is what we're going to have as our selection, which is what I use pretty much every time. I'm just going to hit enter. And that should fix some of that. That'll give it a little bit of a blur. Save, please. Okay. We're going to save this as Emmer downloads. Okay. So we have the file saved. This is cut out. So far we're 27 minutes in on this. Now let's take care of this racket over here. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. I'm going to work from the way up. So we'll just name this base. We'll name this hair. Whatever, hair. Tennis ball. So I'm going to delete this layer mask. I'm just going to go over here. So here's the thing. I'm using the pen tool, right? Like this is what we're doing, so whatever. I'll use the pen tool to cut out this tennis ball, which is going to be silly. Here, look. Look at this glorious. Boom, look. I'm going to select it. I'll go here, and then we're going to go to selected mask, and then we're going to completely destroy everything I just did. Because we're going to go like this. And enter. Now let me get rid of these shapes too. There, so the tennis ball is there. If I get rid of that, there's a tennis ball. And we might as well make a new layer on top of this to get rid of some of this bleeding. I'm just going to take a blue brush that's really light and just paint over the edges. Like this, and then, I don't know, set it to color or overlay. We'll set it to overlay. That should look fine. There, great. Okay, we're going to take the base, copy it again, and we're going to do this. We're going to say strings. So what we're going to do is I'm going to group the base together, put it, say base, so we don't mess anything up. I would, if we want to use the pen tool, we can. I'm just going to use a brush and delete all of this, but I can't because the strings are still there. Ugh. Whatever, we'll use the pen tool again. All right, so pen tool, click and drag, and you should be able to do this. I should technically like stop here. Get this B. And you can hold down the shift buttons to go 45 degrees if you want. Comes in handy. You hold shift if you have a perfect curve that's up and down. All right, back over here. The way I do curves or circles is quarters because that's how or I do it every, 1 quarter around, just because that's how if you make a shape in Illustrator, it's going to look like that. So that is what I do. If and when I do use the pen tool, which, as you guys know, is seldomly, but it does come in handy. All right, so now I'll select that, and then I'll accidentally crop. I'll delete this out. Get rid of that. There, it's been deleted out. We did it. So there's that. So now we have this string. So the strings, I'm going to do the way I like to do strings. So what we're going to do, there's a couple different ways we can do this. I'm going to use a gradient map and make it pink and yellow because that's what color strings are. Hold on, can I use a channel selection for this again? This is where calculations might come in handy again. Channels. Green. No. Maybe red. It's fine. All right. We're going to use a gradient map just to make it black and white because their strings doesn't matter. And we're going to blow this up a bunch. All the contrast in the world is really what we're doing. Kind of like this. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm going to take the strings. I'm going to throw them behind everything else. There's a couple different ways you can do this. So I'm masking out everything but the strings. Calculations would help. I'm going to look into that and see if I can throw that into the workflow. It's one of those things where I need to be like, let me just randomly look at what every single thing does in here. So I need to tweak something around the edges. So I can have this back here and be strings, and I can just set it to screen, and then the strings are there, and they're fine. The way you might want to theoretically do this, if I just have this normally, I would use a blend if and do the same thing, which is going to do pretty much the same thing. So I can do this, which gives some of the darkness around it. I'm actually then going to duplicate it with that. but throw everything back. So what it's going to do then is I have the strings, they're set to screen, but behind it I've got a layer of darkness so it looks a little bit more realistic. Then theoretically, I mean, you can see it's all completely cut out where any sort of darkness is, which not great. But maybe we can duplicate another one of these. And actually that makes it look even better, just having it duplicated again behind everything. This is the base. Let me add this back in. So it's a little transparent. We're gonna do this. Click, 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 click. Yeah, the tablet probably comes in real handy here. This is what we got. So here's cutout player. You know, good to go. I can group this all together. Pen tool. I'll hit save. As usual, if you've seen me design, I'm going to duplicate the bottom layer. Toss it below everything. Get rid of the layer mask. We're going to throw a black and white gradient map on top of that. We're going to blow the whites over like that. That's fine. And then we can set this to multiply. We'll group this together as the shadow. Mask all of that out, and then we'll just brush it back in. And I'll just use a nice little tool like that. So boom. There we go. We got that going on. Now what I would do then, I'm going to convert this all to one smart object, which is why you can't screen the tennis racket. Because if you do that, it's going to destroy it. So that's where if you do the blend if instead, it will allow you to do that. Because now our tennis racket's black. Because you can't have separate calculations like that on it. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to fix that. So it works here, but if it has no background, which it technically has no background, you break it completely. So we're going to set the screen to normal. What we're going to do, if this layer is anything but white, you know, we see through it. What happens if I duplicate that? What is this actually adding? Nothing. So let me get rid of this back layer so we can see what it's adding. And as you can see, it's literally adding nothing. So let me do like that. And then I can force the gradient map a little bit more, theoretically. And we're doing this all to, oh, hold on. I did the wrong gradient map. We're doing this all to the group, so the gradient map is affected. So if we tweak the gradient map slightly like this, it goes into effect. So I think that looks fine. We're gonna blur it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we'll get rid of that, go back. Oops, this is a different photo we could have used. So now we're here. She's got her tennis racket. We're all good. So now I can go into my filter, blur, gallery, path blur. Just hit delete to delete the default blur, and then just figure out how she's hitting the ball. So she's hitting it this way. And you can hit enter. I don't like to do a centered blur. I like to have it taper off a little bit because then it looks like it's moving. But when I do that, I've noticed that you might have to take the blur and have it go the opposite direction. So it looks like it's actually coming one way. So you can see it's got a trail behind it now with this taper and at this specific speed. So I'm going to drop the speed down to 25 and hit OK. And then we can invert the selection because it's a smart object with our smart filter. We can throw this up and I'll set to 30% and just kind of throw it on here like that. I think that looks pretty good. So here is our final attempts using the pen tool. You know, everything looks pretty decent. You know, there's some spots down here that we can fix probably with the medium. I'm going to go ahead and do it a different way. I'm just going to use the stamp tool and select spots on the inside and just brush over it like this. And it's going to get rid of the edge. I could just select... That's weird. Oh, is it because of the blur? That's real weird, right? Like, There. I could just select this and do select, modify, contract 1 pixel, hit enter, mask, which is going to get rid of most of that for me, and then turn the blur gallery back on. And that's usually what I do. I usually do that. There are different ways to do it that might be better. And you can see the hair still, like, I don't really like how the hair looks. So we're going to go in and we're going to overhaul this hair. And just because it's not blur, let's blur it actually. Can we just do that? Let's just blur it. Let's blur it. It's hair, it's moving, right? I think that'll make me happier if it's just... What am I doing? I'm unmasking the parts I masked out. I mean, that's fine. We don't care about the edge on that, but we do want to blur it. That looks so bad. All right. We'll go back in here. Where's the hair? Here's the hair. What just happened? Okay. I was like, I hit something completely terribly. So let's select this and let's go up to select and mask. Let's give this like a 2 pixel feather and see what happens. Delete layer mask. Select and mask. A 2 pixel feather does that? Something's wrong. What is this trying to do? There. Somehow it looks a little bit better. Because it's a little jabberwocky still. That's why hair sucks. That's why if I did this, I would put it on like a dark background and then hide half the hair. That's really what I would do. Just hide it all. Go like this. You know, I don't know. Cut this out. There's a big spot here. We can paint that back in, sort of like that. I don't know. Get rid of that, save, go back. Get out of that photo. I mean, this is going to look better. Just because I blurred it, which... Not ideal, but will work. Yeah, that looks better. Just add another little... I don't know how I want to do this. Let's just add a rectangle. That's a circle. If you guys didn't know that, it's an ellipse. I'm just going to give this a gradient fill. You know, negative 90. Set it to multiply it like, I don't know, 10%, 20%. Drag it up like this. There, now she's got a fake horizon line that she's sitting on. Cool. All right, so let's actually, no, we're going to get rid of that. This is going to mess everything up. So let's actually do this. Actually, no, we'll just move this to the same file. I'm just going to make a new file. We're going to make it 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. We're just going to paste everything into there. And look, we're going to make it smaller, so it's going to look a little bit better because it's larger. I didn't even edit this photo even. This photo is going to look way better on a 16 by 9 canvas size, so we're going to change that. 3555. Cool. It's like tennis ball color background. Actually looks kind of cool. But now that I lowered it, I think I need to adjust this blur. Hold on. I'm masking out the blur with this, so I can't do that. So I need to delete this layer. Go into this file. Group all these together. I'm just going to duplicate it and then convert that to a smart object. Yeah, that would be nice, Darian, if they were more considerate and just played in front of green screens. I mean, tennis is like half played in front of blue screens, you know, or like blue clay a lot of the times. Select, modify, contract 1 pixel. This is probably going to mess that up. Yeah, so we'll go in and we'll paint this back in. And it's funny when you put this on like a transparent background, you can see where like, oh, I didn't paint that in. That's weird. Should probably put that back in. Whoops. It's gonna be blurred, it's fine. Okay, save this, go back. So then the blur gallery shouldn't matter and it won't mess anything up. And we'll have our precision we wanted. So that's what we got. Looks solid. What is this layer doing? Oh, this is doing that, but we don't need that anymore because we can do that. All right, so this is where I would, edit the photo. So I don't know if we're gonna cut one out with the other way because we've spent 42 minutes. Let's stop my timer. 42 minutes doing this. I think it looks nice. Hair again, a little wonky. I theoretically could convert this to a smart object. It's gonna mess up the shadow's a different layer. And then I can add another blur. So let's do that. Let's do blur gallery. Let's add another path blur. Delete the main path and just go like this. And then have the speed of this blur be like 5. Or like 7. Hello, Chris. Welcome. And then invert that. And then we can just go up here. We can just blur out the hair. Say, screw you, hair. Nobody likes you. Look at all this action we're adding to the photo. Doesn't look terrible, so that's fun. Alright, let's edit this photo now. So I'm just going to go up to the camera raw filter. Well, it's mainly this photo that the hair sucks on. So the camera raw filter, it's going to show the blur gallery, so it's going to be completely broken. So let me do blur gallery. Turn that back on. Right click. Convert to smart object. Okay, now we'll go in and we'll do some camera raw editing. See, this is why Mike doesn't have hair. This is why I'm slowly losing my hair on purpose. Let's boost the contrast. Let's boost the shadows. I don't know, let's increase the whites and decrease the blacks just because. So someone, I think Enrique, was like -20 on dehaze, which I'd never done before. And then like he boosted the clarity to like 1,000,000,000. Let's play with that. Increase the contrast. Decrease the highlights. Decrease the clarity a little bit. Let's add a little bit of vibrance just because that's fun. I hit OK and see what that looks like. So it boosted a lot of the high. It looks better. There's more contrast. That's nice. That's why I don't have it. It has nothing to do with being old and bald. And yeah, been that way since, I don't know, high school. All right. So I'm going to set this to multiply. Just because who doesn't want to multiply green on green? And then we'll just mask out the back. Like this. And then we'll set it to like 50% or like 66%. Save. Let's save this as something. Emma clipped design. Design.psd. Grain it up. Yeah, so I don't like. So usually what I would do. See if I can do that on here. Hop in the neural filters. This might completely screw up some stuff. Let's do some JPEG artifact removal. And really what this does is it takes all the, if you see the individual square artifacting of a JPEG, it'll make it turn into sort of canvas. So her face looks sort of canvassy instead of like this. Canvassy. I mean, it's pretty much going to look the same just because based on how the photo is. I shouldn't have turned it off. We'll just output this as a smart filter. I'll hit OK. That's fine. Whatever. Okay, we need to add some stuff to this now to make it cool. So let's do that. Oh gosh. Emma Raducanu. Just gonna do Emma real large, and we're just gonna hit the default button, which is Futura extra black condense BT italic, which is Nike, which is on her hat. And you know what we're gonna do with this text? We're gonna slightly rotate it. Now it's at an angle. This is really just gonna look like the Coco Gauff graphic I made because it's the same composition. And I think I hit the default button. Actually, no, she's a New Balance athlete. I don't think I did that. We got Emma. Let's actually put it. Let's strike that. Strike that. Reverse it. Garrett, what movie is that from? Optical. What do you mean optical? What are we talking about? Let's just use Druck. Yes, it's from the Fast and the Furious. Specifically, Too Fast, Too Furious, the superior Fast and Furious movie. Thank you, Chris, for educating this young kid about the likes of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. A classic movie. I actually used to not like that movie when I was in like first grade because I was too empathetic towards the kids. I just felt bad. New guide layout. Let's do 75 pixels. There we go. Save. Oh, optical over metrics. Okay. Yes. Good call. I don't know why mine's set to metrics. Like, I've done work for people, and they're like, hi, can you fix the kerning on this? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, God. It looks terrible. It's not a creepy movie. It's classic Gene Wilder. Bite your tongue. So let's take a look at this image of Emma to begin with. So here's the original image. This is a terrible way of what I'm going to try and do. I'm just going to use this background as texture. And the way I should do this is not this way. So I'm basically trying to resize this to be exact by just making it slightly larger and then moving it around to match body positions. See, but it's over there, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to set this multiply, drop it down here. Drop it up like this, grab this, go like that. So we don't want it to be this gross color or whatever it is, so we'll make it black and white and then set it to multiply, which it is, but we're going to set it to color burn actually. That looks better. And then we're actually going to rasterize this. Gasp. Everyone collectively gasp. I would on here, but I have a gasp button. Hold on, we need everyone to collectively gasp. Oh, that doesn't work that way? Okay, great. Everyone collectively gasp. There we go. Right click. What am I doing? Right click. Like, I don't even know how to rasterize things. Where's it at? Rasterize. There we go. I'm only rasterizing it so I can just take this little part and just drag it out. There. I'm just going to convert it to a smart object now again. Boom. There we go. All right. There. Save. Got that going on. The Johnny Depp version is the creepy version. If Garrett wants to be accurately correct. So we got Emma. So I don't know. Let's do something cool to this text. I don't know. Let's convert it to a smart object. Emma Raducanu. Where's Emma from? Oh, she's from Toronto. Great. So let's go to Unsplash, find a photo of Toronto. Yeah, like this. Download this. Great. Done. toss it on here. Go like this. Blow it up real big. You think it's the headgear that did it for you? And what? What headgear? What do I want to do with this? Oh, that's in the Johnny Depp version. You're thinking of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We're talking about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, that is definitely creepy. But Tim Burton made the movie. So, really, what can you expect? Converting this to a smart object again. Double clicking this guy. Cool. We're going to make a gradient map that looks like this. Not even going to blur it. The same universe. Okay. Toronto displace. Whatever. Go back. Go back. Here we are. I'm going to delete this. I don't want it. I just wanted to create a displacement map. So I can displace her name. I don't know, 4 pixels horizontal and 0 the other way. See what that looks like. Grab Toronto. Yeah. Makes it a little bit edgy. Let's go 2. 2 that way. Just give it some texture. Hey, look, texture. Cool beans. Alright, let's grab some stock images. Let's hit some default buttons now for me. Sports textures. I like using this clay texture. I would probably use like this. Probably use this. That's more baseball. Okay. What do I want? I want some texture. I want some concrete. Asphalts? What is this? Something I downloaded for free that I never used. Sounds good. I'm just like staring at my assets that I use all the time, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Grunge? Yes. Grunge. I just want a texture for the background up here. Just want to give it some sort of texture. Just need like a concrete wall, but this is like way too zoomed in for a realistic concrete wall. I just want like a stucco wall. You know, like this, but not so cracky. Like this is, what is this? Yeah, that's fine. See what that looks like. Color burn it like the other one. Blow it up a little bit. It's not gonna look great. We'll figure it out. Select this, invert the selection, boom. It's actually on top. We don't want it on top of that. Let's see what happens if we drop this displacement map on top of the text and see if it lines up, which it does, which is kind of cool and really kind of weird. How do we want to do that? Because this destroys any sort of contrast with it and looks terrible, so we're going to delete it. Good idea. So we got her name of Emma, which is nice. Let's just put her last name big on top. I keep forgetting her last name. Raducanu. We need this to be like a lot smaller. I spelled her last name wrong. We'll make it black. Raducanu. All right, now theoretically, an opposite color to Hulk green is Hulk pants color, which is purple. Fun fact. Okay, I want less cyan than magenta. So let's do 75, 75, 75 and 100. Just mix and paint. Let's use Mars Attacks, because that's a fun sort of spray painty, but not really spray painty. These colors actually, I'm going to be honest, these colors slap right now. Man, I need to use these colors in like client work. This is great. We're gonna go like this. Set this up to multiply. Is that what we want to do? I don't think so. Maybe we want to set it to normal. I think we technically need to do that. Whoops. I duplicated it. I moved it completely. That's an issue. We'll figure that out later. Oh, that's what I need to do with this. This here. Let me hide this real quick. I need this if the underlying layer is dark to shine through like that. I think I'm going to mess it up anyway, so I don't think it really matters, but it's a good point. Adjustment, gradient map again, just because we want to make this black and white. We want to mask it to her name, so we're going to delete this layer mask. I mean, I'll do it anyway. It's a good idea. I think I'm going to put this below this. Garrett, you just used the quick select tool for me? I'm honored. See, that looks so much better now that we just blend if'd it. So much better. Alright, here's her name. Let's change this. Let's change this to optical. Yeah, see, with a font like this, you can't do optical because it just breaks completely. You also can't even read Emma anymore. We'll go like this. Just make it smaller. Make it normal. We'll just do the same thing. We'll just underline layer. If anything's dark, it shows through, which is good. But then we also take this and we delete it from the layer mask. Like that. Then we take this and we actually filter out the background so it all flows together like normal. That's what we want as well. I want this to be darker though. There, I think that's good. That's fun. Let's see. We got a US Open. See, Lewis, words. Let's find a. I want a photo of the US Open trophy. You got one of those? Whoop. Look at this. Look at this. Men's singles. Do you have the women's trophy? Sexist. Only having the men's trophy available on here. I love these photos from Tiffany's website, though. It's amazing. It looks so nice. We'll just drop this in here. Drop it down. Put it in front of her like that. You know, that's a good spot for it. Sort of a rule of thirds sort of deal. Design school things. We're going to set this to multiply. Then we're going to convert it to a new smart object via copy that's not set to multiply. And then we're going to cut it out with the pen tool. Thanks for joining in, Mike. Really appreciate it. Now this would be great for the pen tool. Actually, what would be easier? Let's try something completely different. I'm gonna take a levels adjustment layer and we're gonna blow the blacks up like that. And I'm gonna duplicate the background. We're gonna convert this to a smart object. And then we're just gonna hit select subject and see what breaks. Now it pretty much got it because I blew up the levels so much. I'm gonna do even more because we're not even gonna use this. It can be as dumb as looking as possible. Look at all that JPEG artifacting. Like, that's hilarious. Let's convert this to a smart object now. Yeah, Dean, go to bed. Thank you for sticking around and showing up. I know. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that you were here as well. I appreciate that you came and watched. That's why I need to do some earlier streams. So all my friends that live in the UK and Wales. Color range. Let's try that. Color range. Let me do localized clusters, fuzziness 0, range 0. I'm going to add the outside, which is doing nothing. So I can add range and you see it boosts up more. I can select all around here. The more I click though, the more it breaks. Like, cause this is like super edgy. Can I just hit image? Oh no, that's the selection with the selection. What's up, James? I think that does that. We're just gonna use the pen tool because this is a pen tool stream, so we're using the pen tool. All right, so for the pen tool, I want to use I'm going to start a position that is a sharp area. I should just be able. I mean, this is a trophy, so I can just kind of like fake it and just kind of go over a bunch, over a bunch. We'll go over a little bit, but actually I can't. I need to go down here so that I can swipe this up like that. And then we'll go up like this. And then we'll swing back this way. And then go up like that. I think we need to cut this over actually a little bit more. Oops. Oops. So I need to move this down maybe to there and then click that there. Who knows? This is just one big bowl, so we can go like this. That looks good enough to me. This doesn't look like a sharp angle, so we'll make a little divot. Drag down here, hold down the shift key to drag straight over. Then click here and drag straight up, theoretically. You know, we'll just do this, do this. This is definitely one time I would recommend using the pen tool if you want precision, because when you have an object like this where it's very hard to discern where the edges are, you can make them up with the pen tool, and since the pen tool is good at creating curves, and this is just one big hunk of curviness, you know, big ol' hunk of curves like Chris Farley, then we're in good shape. Let's move this up. Let's go over here. I could be lazy with this if I want. And just do half of this, since this should theoretically be a symmetrical trophy. You can just do half and then select it that way, and then do like some reverse plane around, since this is a shape. Let's do that and see what happens. We're on a journey together anyway in this. Let's click there. Too much. Move this over. Hold down shift. All good. Click back. Go in here. Don't like that. Fine. We'll fake the funk, as one of my old professors would say. Go up here. Go over here. Do some clicking. Click there. I don't know. Click up like that. I don't know what this. I don't know how this trophy is supposed to curve in real life. You can't even see where the edges are because it's glass. It's just silver, sterling silver, sterling silver. Gosh, this trophy's annoying. All right, let's go up here. Click to make an anchor point. Click and drag. Click to make an anchor point. It'd be funny if this already had a channel to like cut it out, or a path already. Sometimes I've seen that on some photos of stuff. Oh, on car photos, when I used to do stuff with cars. Sometimes the OEM, the manufacturer of the car, would send photos and they would have clipping masks of the cars in them automatically in like a TIFF file, which is very nice because then we could cut it out and then put it in any scene we want instead of having it be on white, which is what we did a lot. You know, you can't have a cool springtime ad with a big white background of a car. Okay, so we're up here. We're over here like this. I'm going to drag it up like that. Oh, good. There's a big plumbus up here at the top. We got to deal with the plumbus now. So we're just going to go like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Oh man, I didn't start at the middle. So I can actually go in here now. I can just make a thing like that and then go here and drag it out like that. Oops. Let's select this. Let's go up the center here. There, we've got that selection going on. We're good there. Let's make a new selection over here like this. See, isn't this sexy to learn and play around with the pen tool? Too glad you chose to spend your Tuesday night watching me cut out laboriously with the pen tool. I'm gonna go straight up and down for this so I can go like that. Clicky click, click and drag, click and drag, and that's gonna mess up if I do anything, so we'll go like that. Alright, so let's take this, subtract this, do one of these, take these, group them together. That's G. Negative 100. Then we just drag this over to that, and then I should be able to select this, deselect this, and go like that. Boom, there. But as you can see, the trophy is not symmetrical, so that doesn't work. So let's see if we can fake that. Is it really just this over here? Let's just move everything in a little bit. Let's move this shape in a little bit. Well, actually, I can just take the shape and just manipulate it and go like this and just match it, which is oddly convenient. Drag this out. Let me delete this layer mask so I can... Oh, wow. See, like, what is going on here? Completely different. This slight angle it's at just completely messes everything up. Which is why doing this symmetrically, it does not work. You burned. Okay, let's go down here. You can select all these though and just move them. It's nice. Just move this down, move this over. You'll figure out what's going on here. Just I can use the direct select tool and select the point and delete it if it's being a little itis. Don't even care. Alright, so we're going to drag this down here. Drag this a little bit. Drag this inside. Drag this down there. Drag this down here. Drag this here. Do some slight manipulating. Oops. I guess I can use the pen tool and then like use the buttons that come with it. Like I told you. Okay, hello, I'd like to move one, please. Losing my mind. Stop it. Frustrating. Alright. Oh, you know what I did? I completely messed everything up. There. That's what I want. I want this to stay the same because I accidentally deleted it. Okay, let's hide this. Let me just save this out and just see how bad this looks. Because we're going to replace the contents with this. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that and it looks terrible. So let's fix that. Let's do this the cheater's way. A way that might actually work easily. This is where the magic wand might work decently. But I need to set the tolerance to like 5. Yeah, so then I can just go like that and delete that out. But not really. Alright, we're just gonna use a brush. We're just gonna go like this. Nice hardness on the brush and just go whoop. Whoop. That's what the brush sounds like, by the way. It goes whoop. Go whoop. 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 You know, who knows what that looks like. Watch me not even put this in the final because I don't want it in there. Sounds like something I would do. This is the other way you can cut something out, is you can just put a mask on it and then just use a brush and just go like this a bunch. It's not going to have nice sharp corners as usual unless you swap back and forth constantly. Oops. Womp. But it gets the job done. And I'm tight on time and don't want to mess around with cutting out this stupid trophy anymore. Which is why trophies are annoying. Alright. Bam, 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 bam. Pen tool would actually be quite quick right here. 3 clicks or 4 clicks instead of me doing this. This is just like quick and sloppy. All right, so these are all like curves. So you just kind of go like this and click around a bunch. Since it's nice smooth curves, I can just go like this. There we go. Up here at the plumbus. Scientific definition for the top of a trophy. I'm just kidding, it's from Rick and Morty. I hope you guys know what a plumbus is. It's a really dumb video. Look it up. Alright, so we got this trophy kind of cut out. You know, kind of, sort of, maybe. Cheating a little bit on how we did it. I was really just getting too impatient with the pen tool. It's really what happened. So we'll go like this. Porter, are you in here? You still in here, or are you gonna go play some Warzone? Shout out to Porter, by the way. He got a job with the NHL, which is pretty dope. It's even more dope because I also interviewed for that job. And he got it. Which is cool because I know who he is. Let's just do this. Let's just do one of these. And it can be a funny ego boost for him to be like, that punk Bradley Jack Design didn't get this job, I did. Son. Let me just turn this back on, actually. We'll use this because I already made it, and this is going to be easy to edit. To be fair, Porter does love hockey more than I do. Alright, we'll just select this and then delete it from here. There. Now the trophy should look not as dumb. There, not as dumb trophy. It's super bright though, so we gotta fix that. Camera raw. Highlights, way low. Clarity up, contrast up. I don't know. Dehaze a little bit. Use shadows. That's a little bit better. Actually, theoretically, what I should do is drop the exposure to like -1.5. Drop it on here. The only time hockey is enjoyable is when there are fights. Garrett, that's just such an immature thing to think. I'm just kidding, you're right. It's the reason to watch hockey. It's for the fights. But Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey for the Nintendo 64, I think, or Super Nintendo. That game was fun. So I'm just drawing some blank shadows. It looks a little bit better, you know. So this is the trophy shadow, but I'm going to use one of Dean's shadows. He's not here now, of course. I'm going to use this ball shadow. Just be like, bam. Ball. A little bigger. Ball. There. Shadow. Looks a little bit better. Color burn. Alright, cool. So we got that. Got this cool looking graphic. Let's just add some cool stuff I like to add on everything. Let's add a light leak. I have a purple light leak in here. Does you know what? I never use these light leaks like this. Like, that's nice. Like the actual ratio of what the light leak is. Toss it up there like that. Toss this up at the top though. I'm gonna put a gradient map on it to make it black and white, but I'm gonna make it like 40%. We'll make a new layer. Actually, we'll do let's make it pop. That completely killed all of the cool colors. This is killing all of the greens, which is very interesting. But we can find one of these that we like. If we want to make it pop, or if we want to make it teal orange plus contrast, go down to 20. I'm gonna set this to 50%, see what we like. I don't like any of these because it's getting rid of our awesome green color. So let's hit a default button, go down here, and go to like codec, maybe 325. Okay, let's do that, but then let's add a selective color on the greens, and let's get rid of all the magenta and add a bunch of black, which as you can see is doing nothing. Let's go to the yellows instead and add a bunch of cyan. There we go. And add some black. That looks better. Make a new layer. We're going to convert everything over to one file, convert that to a smart object, and we'll do some final camera raw filterings to end it, and we should be done. This is where I'll add some of the grain now that was suggested. We'll give it a little bit of a vignette, which doesn't make sense with the light leak in the top right hand corner, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. I want effects. Grain. Go to the end of the end for grain. Add a bunch of grain. It's too much. There, we'll add that much grain. We'll sharpen it just for no reason. Let's get down to the calibration. Let's boost the saturation of the greens. Let's boost that. The blue primary. Let's move that down here as well. The red primary, I think we're gonna want to pretty much stay the same. Tint, we won't touch. Geometry's fine. Go back to the basics. A little bit of contrast. Decrease the highlights. You know, I don't know. Clarity, let's bump up to 10. Texture 10. Dehaze, I don't know. -6. I don't know. We're just hitting buttons at this point. Thanks for watching with Brad. Please rate your pen tool experience with 1 through 5. Worst and best. This does look way cooler with that on it. The only thing this is missing is a lens start. You know how much I love lens starts. Stock images. Lens start. Let's pick a fun one. They're not loading fast enough, so I'm gonna use this one. There we go. Cool. Cool beans. Alright, well, there we go. Used the pen tool and survived. Took 43 minutes, which sounds terrible. But if you're charging by the hour, advantage you. Thank you guys for joining me. This turned out to be a really cool looking graphic. You know, I'd probably throw some tennis balls in the front, which we have time to do. Let's just do that. Tennis ball. Hello, 3D looking tennis ball. I want you, Pikachu. You 3D render. I think I already have one of these downloaded, actually. Tennis ball, download. Download without license. Let's get rid of these, which is fine. Let's toss these right here. The issue is these tennis balls aren't going to have a lot of contrast with the background. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make it purple. So let's do that. Do the gradient map. Blast the purple over a bunch like that. Blast. I don't know the best way to do that, actually. I think it would be to blast it like this. Make this slightly darker purple like that. A little bit more realistic. It might be to actually change the color. It might be to go in here to the hue and saturation and then just go like this. Yeah. Spoiler, way easier. Convert that to a smart object. I need to add a lot more contrast to it and clarity. And dumb down the highlights a bunch. There, now it's dark. We'll convert this to a smart object. And then we'll use a filter, blur filter. Actually, no, we'll do this. I knew that was going to happen. Convert to smart object. This is what I did on that Coco Gauff graphic. Put one here. Stupid. Put one up here. Put one down here. Put one here. Put one up here. We'll convert these to a smart object. I'm going to do just the hue on these though, actually, because I want it to match the background. That actually looks kind of cool on accident. So we'll go to the hue and saturation to about there. That's better. And we're going to filter, blur, radial blur. And we're going to do best, zoom quality, 10, and hit OK. Is that what I did? I don't think that's what I did, actually. I think I went like this. What's up, what's up? ZWB design. We go from the middle, we're just going to go like that. We got another one going from the middle. Oops. And hit enter. This is kind of doing the same thing, but not really. Oops, I need to delete that one. So I don't want a centered blur. We'll taper it like that, which is what you do it the other way so they're coming forward. And we'll do a speed of like 150. Sure.